What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you live with breaking news. According to Ian Rappaport, just minutes ago, says that the Bengals are trading defensive end Carlos Dunlap to the Seattle Seahawks for draft pick compensation. Dunlap gets his wish, and Seattle gets some pass rush help. Whew. All right. I'm trying to take this all in. This breaking news. We've been talking about how Seattle needed to get somebody in the assistance for the pass rush. And now Carlos Dunlap, who we talked about last night, we were chatting about it in the video I did yesterday evening when I was ranting about the Seahawks defensive woes, how we need to get somebody, or do we need to get somebody in there, or is this fixable when inside? They didn't get Everson Griffin, but today, if this news is correct, Carlos Dunlap coming from the Bengals to the Seahawks. Now, I don't know this player that well. My understanding is that recently the reason they're trading him is because they haven't been using him much in the rotation. They're kind of going young now because of the fact that, kind of rebuilding that franchise. And he is a bit older. He got into the league in 2010. So he's been in the league 10 years. So this is no spring chicken. He's 31 years old. The question now is, can he still play? Can he still bring it? And maybe he just wasn't as productive this year just because they hadn't used him that much. But this much I can tell you is that since 2010, one thing is for sure is he's been very, pretty reliable. I mean, from 2010, he played 12 games, and then every year after that, 12 games, 14 games, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 14, and then the 7 this year. So he's been solid. The guy has always been available, and that's huge already right there. Started pretty much every game since 2013. The guy's had 82.5 sacks over his career. Let's see, he had 9.5 in his first year, 4.5, then 6, 7.5, 8 in 2014, 13.5, 8, 7.5, 8, 9, and then he's only had 1 sack this year. But the body of work tells me that if you average all that out, he's typically a 7 sack kind of guy, maybe 8 or 9 if you take that 13.5 that he got in 2015 and skew those numbers. So it goes without saying, no matter what he's put up, he's pretty much instantly the sack leader on our team, since I think the only sack leader we got right now is Jamal Adams, who's not even playing, and has missed the last 3 games. So I don't even have the details. Maybe you guys have been following this a little bit more. King Bartholomew says for a pick and an undisclosed player. I wonder who the undisclosed player is and what pick we had to give up. Either way, I think it's something that clearly we desperately need. Obviously, with that last performance against the Cardinals, not having any pressure whatsoever on the quarterback, 47 dropbacks and not even barely a hand on him, that has got to change. And maybe this is the piece to get us over. Now, the question is, how soon can he play? He's got to go through the whole testing protocol, all that stuff. Obviously, he's been playing. I don't know if that. I think that's still when you change teams, you still have to go through that testing protocol, even though he has been playing this year. So, will he be available on Sunday? I don't know if it's even quick enough, being that it's already Wednesday. I mean, we played this game in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in less than 4 days. I don't even think that's enough time in the protocol. So, my guess is that, unless my calculations are correct, we're probably going to be, maybe without him for this game against the 49ers, and maybe he'll be able to play the following week. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk about it tonight on the roundtable. I'm sure we'll get into this. Add that to the list of the many things we got to discuss tonight with the roundtable gang. A lot to discuss. We will be doing that show at 5:30. I'm excited to get into it because I have a lot of things on my mind, a lot of things to dispute with the roundtable, because we had some very differing opinions last week about how this game on Sunday was going to unfold. And they got some explaining to do. You know what I mean? So but this is huge. I'd like to say this is going to be huge because when you're the worst defense and pretty much the worst team at pressuring the quarterback, there's only one way to go from here, and that's up. And so I can't imagine that having him, Carlos Dunlap, on the team can't make it any worse. It's got to be a bump in the right direction. And again, I'm still holding out hope that when Jamal Adams comes back, if and when we get Rasheem Green, who's supposedly practicing this week, who was our sack leader last year, and then Darrell Taylor, who we drafted again to address the pass rush and has not seen the field because of that surgery that he had on his lower leg back in the early part of the year. We haven't seen him either. So there's 3 players, 2 of them whose specialty is rushing the quarterback. Now we add this piece, a third one potentially, and then of course I just said Jamal Adams. So reinforcements are on the way. So that definitely is positive news. So how much difference will he make? We'll find out when Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals, when he can finally get onto the field, whether it's this week or probably next week. How much difference can he make, and can he get those numbers that we had last year? Because if any of those numbers he had from last year, even in his worst year at 4.5 sacks back in 2011, it's still more than our highest sacker of last year. I think Rasheem Green, had 4. I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't think he had more than 5. So at 4.5 sacks, immediately Carlos Dunlap becomes the highest, the sack leader on this team just by default of his numbers. So if you get more than that, that's huge production. So, all right, the more I'm thinking about it, the more excited I'm getting. It'll be interesting to see what we gave up to get him. But Riker Rockstar, the super chat, says, message Pete Carroll to put Bobby Wagner on Kittle. Yeah, that's going to be a big one. This would have been a perfect game where Jamal Adams could have been used to chase down Kittle. I don't know. Can KJ Wright, can he cover a Kittle? I don't think he can. He's got the long arm. He's got the size, but I don't know if he's fast enough to cover him. But really, we should put efforts to cover him, whether it is, like you said, put Bobby on him or put a little extra defender, bracket him, just because what else do they have? Their receiving core and their running back core is decimated like ours. So you got to, just like DeAndre Hopkins last week, he's going to go to him. So put some effort to know that that's the target that's going to be there. So like I said, it's going to be interesting to watch what happens on the defense side of the ball this week. But I think even more fascinating is what's going to happen on the offensive side, given the fact that our 3 top running backs are all injured, and at this point still unknown as to when any of those guys are going to be able to come back. Chris Carson with the sprained foot is week to week, probably out this week. Carlos Hyde dealing with I think a hamstring. And I don't know his status. Travis Homer, I believe, might have had concussion, but I think also something in the leg. So he's questionable, and he's not even our guy that we put in there in first and second down most of the time. So it now comes down to DJ Dallas as our workhorse running back, who barely saw the field this entire year and is terrible on pass protection, which is tough in a situation where if you can't run the ball because you don't have any running backs, and your only running back who is healthy can't pass protect. Quite the quandary, Diggs. So, how are they going to make that work? So there's even talk about possibly, I think Pete Carroll was talking about one of his receivers, and I can't remember which one. It was the one that you don't normally hear the name of, saying that he had some experience as a running back in college. So they might even put a backup receiver in to play running back, okay? That's how desperate it is. And I talked about this last night. We can't even quit freaking call Beacon, get beast mode in here, because even if we did, we wouldn't, not that that's the solution, but if we had some guy who would be the perfect solution for this situation, we can't even just plug him in because of all the COVID protocols. We would not be able to put him in this week anyway. So no matter what, unless there's some secret weapon in the backfield in the practice squad that we haven't talked about, we're rolling with DJ Dallas and potentially a wide receiver rotating in at running back. Can you imagine if DJ Dallas gets hurt? What is our running back going to look like? Somebody said, Put DK Metcalf in at running back. Yeah, put your most valuable receiver and get him busted up running up the middle. 6'4" running back. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? This big, tall skyscraper running back through the hole. Anyway, he'd be fast though in the open field. Throw a lot of screens. Just put him in the backfield and throw some screens. So it's going to be an interesting game plan. It's going to be totally a very different look than we've probably seen in a while here in Seattle. So the drama just unfolds, but we'll focus on the positive, and the positive right now is that we got Carlos Dunlap from the Cincinnati Bengals to help with pass rush. So hopefully he can come in here soon and make a difference. All right, more updates later. Please join us tonight on the NorbCam Roundtable. Again, new time, 5:30 p.m. I guess I just got a word from Seahawks Martin that he can't make the show. Is that what I'm seeing? So yeah, he will not be available. All right, so we might have to make some roster adjustments of our own. We'll see. We've got some ideas on that. So we'll talk to you guys later tonight. I just want to check real quick. Did we get any updates on Twitter from any of the guys who I follow? More details on this. Greg Bell from the Tacoma News Tribune, who I go a lot. He's our Seahawks insider. He says, reportedly trading draft pick compensation to the Cincinnati Bengals to acquire two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Carlos Dunlap. He had 46 sacks from 2015 to 2019. So no news on details there. So pretty much what we already know. Oh, Ian Rappaport does say, as one of the guys in the chat said, this deal includes a player and a pick, not just a pick. So who will the player be? Who is Seattle giving up to get Carlos Dunlap? We'll find out later as the day unfolds. I wonder how much we're giving up. So much draft capital. We're going to be next year's draft. We're going to be hardly there at all. But got to do it. This is the season. We got Russell Wilson playing MVP level. Can't waste it. All right. We'll talk to you guys later tonight, 5:30 p.m. NorbCam Roundtable. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah. Nervous. Go Hawks.